Serious, how do you actually meet new people and make meaningful connections over the age of 20? By going to activities you're actually interested in. Look up local meetup groups for dog walking or Dungeons and Dragons or tomahawk throwing, whatever your interests are, and then go. If you're active in your professional field, go to happy hours or chat up co-workers at lunchtime. Honestly, it's more about putting yourself out there than anything else. I'm naturally introverted, so I understand how hard it can be, but in relationships of any kind you really do get out what you put in. Good question. I am now single again after 18 years and I am trying remember how to date, let alone how to explain to someone that I am a widower. That just seems like a total date killer right there. Find someone at work you don't hate. Invite them to do something you like. See if it works out. If not, try again with someone or something else. Get a gym membership. Take a class in something, anything. Go to a bar and go for broke on karaoke. Volunteer somewhere. Common thread. You have to get out of the house. Man. More than likely, you're going to have to make the first move, too. It'll be okay though. I asked a girl from work out on a friend date. We went to the movies and saw The Matador. It was weird and awkward at first to do it, but she's been my best friend for 13 years and we still tell people our first date story. I met the rest of my friends through a guy she dated. We started going to a weekly pub quiz with some of his friends. The friends loved us and kept us. They're pretty much my family. I love them all so much. Still trying to figure that out myself. Everyone talks about meeting people at work. I don't want to hang out with my co-workers outside of work. My entire company is 8 people and they are all significantly older than I am, but one of them, who I don't like. In my honest efforts over the last year to achieve this sort of stuff, the best I've come up with is to just do you. Like playing music, buy a ukulele, wanna be more active, try out that climbing gym. Think you should call your mom more? You probably should. When you do the things you love, meaningful connections will gravitate to you. People who share your passions or admire your skills. Sometimes the best way to start is by making a meaningful connection with yourself. Moved to a new city at age 44. Went to a local watering hole and became acquainted with the management, bartenders and wait staff. Everything just fell into place after that. Christ, the idea of going to a bar and just talking to strangers baffles me. These days it seems like you can't breathe around people you don't know without it turning into you being creepy to them or weird, etc. Most of my new connections are from work, but it's important to note that I found a job that is similar to my hobbies, so meeting like-minded people was easy. Outside of work, I would suggest meetups you can find online. Working from home is a gift and a curse. I miss the days of bullshitting friends and making new friends. How I've met new people outside of college. Gaming tournaments, D&D games, tech talks, language classes, friends of friends. Basically stuff that I'm interested in, and activities where you would keep meeting the same people over a period of time. If you think about it, people make friends in school because they keep being around the same people. I'm having a similar problem. I moved city last year and made a few friends at university, but we don't really keep in touch. I'm friends with my boyfriend's friends, but only through default. I don't really feel like I have a group in this city and I've lived here for a year and a half. Same boat as you. My boyfriend pushes for me to put myself out there, but I think he doesn't understand how difficult it is since he's had the same friend group since elementary and high school. Dogs. Own. Love. Walk. Understand. And generally allow yourself to succumb to dogs. Dog people talk to each other and share their madness. You have a reason to meet, a reason to get out, and a shared pleasure. Plus, and this is key, dogs are the best. I've found that being open to new experiences is a top contender. Going to events you think you might just enjoy, and then trying to talk to people there. A compliment, passing comment, or even a direct introduction to a new person could get them talking. If they're interesting, perfect. If not, well, there are many more people out there. Don't be afraid to cold approach people, and don't be afraid to ask questions. People love talking about themselves. Help them do that. A basic rule of thumb is as follows. Forward. family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Ask about any one of these things to get a conversation going. Ask more about things you're interested in, and maybe change the subject if you feel it needs to be done, at an appropriate lull in the conversation, of course. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to offer more information. TLDR. Go to events even if you're unsure if you'd enjoy them. Don't be afraid to talk to people, and follow the Ford formula if you think you have nothing to talk about. Volunteering for a board gaming convention might help. If you're not in school, work. If not from work, through mutual friends at social outings. Sometimes randomly when you go out. There's also using eating apps for strictly platonic connections. Some people, I've noticed, use them for friends and friends only. I've met most of my good friends in the last 3 years by becoming heavily involved in the animal rescue world. I wasn't expecting that to be the case, but it just sort of happened, and it's really made my social circle so much more varied and interesting. Best advice my therapist gave me: don't try to meet people. I have crazy social anxiety, but put yourself in situations where you will meet people. I took photography classes and drawing classes. Something I've always wanted to do, especially the drawing. So I wasn't meeting people, I was learning to draw and asking questions and answering questions, and that's the way to do it. I joined the Navy and I made more friends and met more new people in the past 3 years than I have ever had in my entire life. I was and am an introvert, but there's something about the military where people bond over common crappy experiences and put aside differences and accept one another. I am shy and unconfident and find it difficult to make new friends, so I went on Grindr and had a lot of sex with strangers as a way of boosting my confidence one summer, as well as to meet new people. I slept with about 30 or 40 guys. It didn't work, I just had lots of bad sex with strangers who did them. So I stopped that experiment. In hindsight, I should have joined a photography group or something. Thought this was a shit post and then you just dropped some major science. Kudos to you. I really want to date a girl who enjoys games as much as I do. I know this may sound pathetic, but I really cannot find a girl that shares that interest. Every time I date someone, I have to dial back how much I actually like games, with the fear that they'll think I'm a loner or antisocial. It's not something I'm ashamed of or anything, but it's got quite the stigma attached to it. All the girls I've dated have never been into games, but they've been cool with it. However, I want to see what it's like to just be open about it from the get-go. Where can I find these girls? I can't begin to explain to you the value of the relationships I hold in my church. I'm close with dozens of people. Came here hoping to see this. I realize not everyone is a theist, but for those who are, participating in church activities are a super easy way to make adult friends. I think the problem with making friends as an adult is twofold. 1. People expect the perfectly complimentary, fun functional group from friends their whole lives or even the length of that show's run. And 2. People are really picky and judgy and expect everyone to be your perfect match or they're not worth your time. Like Chandler on Friends. Just ask your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever if they know anyone who plays video games or know anyone who watches hockey. Ask to hang out with that person. See if you want to again. Just don't stress too much. LOL, this dude assumes we all have a girlfriend or boyfriend. My awesome friend family were acquired very slowly. It started with talking to people at a music event. We connected well and actually exchanged numbers. Then we decided to hang out together on occasion, and actually committed to it. That got more common. Then deciding to host our own events and actually committing. Then going on trips together, like festivals or camping, and slowly being more and more open with each other, and being there for each other. And we just kept it up, and very slowly over the years we became very close. I love my people. Make and maintain full eye contact when holding a conversation. Be open-minded. Ask questions about topics you think they might be interested in, and just enjoy letting them talk. Be an active listener without judgment. Create a positive dialogue and open up with personal and relatable stories. Don't take yourself so serious. Also, don't make conclusions about other people. Keep in mind the person you're interacting with is likely only painting a verbal picture of their ideal self. Only when you've achieved true friendship will people be more open and personable. Pick up on body language. Smile and compliment people daily. They will receive you as someone positive and will be more open and sharing. Don't talk about other people in a bad way. And don't believe everything someone tells you. Recognize the efforts people contribute and acknowledge it. Be honest. If you don't think you can make it to something someone invited you to, decline but thank them. If you do accept, keep your commitment. Don't waste your energy on toxic people, including family. Take time to self-reflect. Listen more than you speak. Ask interesting questions you genuinely are interested in knowing the answer to, and not fall into generic conversations that are practically formulaic. Be real, be honest, be true, be nice. Only say something if you believe it has value. Be the better person. I can go a short conversation without blinking, staring directly into the other person's eyes. People do not appreciate it. I moved to a new city 3 months ago and only last weekend made the effort to socialize. In hindsight, my plan sucked butt and I got lucky, but here it is. I'll preface by saying that I'm a guy who's nothing special to look at and is usually pretty introverted. So, to start, I put on my nicest clothes and got pretty drunk at home until I found the happy spot, where everything is great, but you're still mostly lucid, and then caught the train into town. I didn't know any places to go, so I talked to some other, drunk, people on the train and asked where they were headed. That in itself got me an invite to party with one group and I went with them to the first bar. The music at this bar was pretty heavy for me, so I made social media contact with some of the guys and wandered off. Then I wandered into another bar with a lively pop dance floor, smashed a few drinks and embarrassed myself on the dance floor. Seriously, by looking like I was having a great time everyone assumed I was a fun person good at having a fun time. This led to some comments from people at the bar when I went to buy a drink, which after a few runs turned into some decent conversations and introductions. By this time of the night everyone was pretty lubed up and having a good time. Because I had become a conversation piece, everyone kind of gravitated towards me for a convo. From there I got a few numbers and more social media contact. Most of these contacts were never going to progress, but so far I've been to lunch once and have an upcoming drink session on the weekend. Again, I definitely got lucky. Could still lead nowhere and it's not for everyone. But those are my 2 cents. TLDR. Put on some nice clothes, get really drunk and have a great time at a bar by yourself. Others will come to you if you're fun. Yeah, I've done this plenty of times. It's not going to last and you'll end up a big time drunk if you aren't one already. People will always expect that fun side of you. Come to find out that's not the real you at all. Work friends, but that gets terribly difficult if one of you get to management with hiring and firing power. The guy I get along with the most invites me to do things all the time, but I turn him down most of the time because I'm his manager. I wish he'd get recruited somewhere else for a lot more money so we could hang. The relationships outside of work, I feel like I really have to work on them. I'm not sure I've really ever gotten that college buddy connection even with drinks. The dog park. I'm not kidding. Get a dog and go to the dog park every day. For some bizarre reason, people are much more willing to have conversations with strangers when a dog is around. I've made at least 5 very good friends from the dog park in 1 year. It's not only a social break, but it's tech free since no one really pulls their cell phones out since they have to watch for the dogs, lol. My boyfriend and I had no friends when we moved to this town age 23. We decided to start going to one of those pub quiz trivia nights at a local bar lounge place. It's held every week. Pretty soon we started getting to know some members of the other teams that were always there every week. A year later and we've made 2 amazing friends from another team. We've now combined our teams, made really good friends with the guy who runs the quiz and his girlfriend. And on top of that have made half a dozen great friends with the staff members of the lounge itself. We went out for a meal with some of them last week, and one of them has just invited us to her birthday drinks on Friday. We were planning to move 200 miles away at the end of this year and now I don't know how we're going to. Internationals. Find someone you work with who's been in the country for a year or less. Invite them to things. Grow the group with new people. Eventually the group gets so big it splits into subgroups. That's where your friends start feeling like close friends. If you need practice meeting people, consider traveling abroad, stay in social hotels, hostels, or if you want to cheat, just go to the local social travelers bar in your hometown and see what you can do. Rinse and repeat. I'm struggling with this now. 47, former drug addict, sober a long time, into punk hardcore, harm reduction work, and writing. Making friends is a mystery to me. I've been trying for like 2-3 years. I've had some success, but if I wanted to find someone for dinner tonight, there would be no one. Sucks. Find a local group that centers around one of your hobbies. You can find groups on Meetup, Facebook, your local library, etc. I like to write in my free time, so I found a local writers critique group that meets weekly. I've known the people there for 2 years now and they're some of my best friends. I know this is going to sound dumb, but it's as simple as walking up to a person who you personally find interesting and strike up a conversation. See where it goes. I know this isn't easy, as I have been struggling with being antisocial for some time as well, but I decided to just go for broke. It gets interesting at times. Go outside. Talk to strangers. Treat people well. If you go to a coffee shop often, chat briefly with the baristas. Ask them how their shift's going. Next time, ask if they did anything fun over the weekend. Be open to sharing real information about yourself if they return the conversation. Give it a few weeks, and if you've developed any chemistry, you may have found a friend. If you have a hobby, make an effort to go out to gatherings related to it. Say hello and introduce yourself to people you meet there. Be open to sharing real information about yourself if they return the conversation. Keep going back on a relatively frequent rate. Continue talking to people. If you think they're better than you at stuff, ask about it. If they're new, offer help. Participate, and people will likely ask you about stuff that you do. Nearly every great friend I've met has come from some hobby. Anywhere outside of your home will work. Dance classes, the gym, the arcade, a bookstore, foreign language practice, volunteer work, a school board. Freaking anywhere. Talk to people. Be genuine. If you like them, keep talking. If they're boring or an but, don't keep talking. You might click instantly. It might take years before you both open up enough to realize you'll be good friends. But nothing will ever happen if you don't freaking go outside and talk to strangers. Burning Man for me. While it is only once a year, there are local burner events seemingly everywhere. I have made lifelong friends. Find a passion. Go do that. Volunteering, Harleys, Rocky Horror Shadowcast, Jeeps, and you will have something in common with other people. Proximity and similar interests will provide the opportunity for friendships. Get a steady volunteer gig where there are others your age. Join a church or other religious community. Take an interest in what someone else is doing and ask them to teach you more. Become a regular anywhere. Coffee shop, brewpub, diner. Shared hobbies and interests. That is, I like airsoft. I've not been going long, but I've made a few friends going. It's all a good laugh and everyone's really nice. So long as you're polite, I don't see why you should have any trouble. If you're into fishing, you can probably find a fishing club nearby to you. I'm sure almost this exact answer will be posted here several times, but find something you're interested in and take it up. Moved to a new area a while back with 0 friends and no family. Between running and rock climbing, mostly the latter, I made a solid group of 4 really good friends within a few months. People like to share their passions, so if you're able to find people who are interested in what you are, you'll most likely get along. I'm 28 and went through a 6-year collage. Friends I made over 2024, mostly collage friends of friends I already had, a few from events relating to StarCraft, some from music festivals, also high school people that I did not talk that much back then but found we have things in common now. 24-28, mostly work related. Started work and I got involved in national international associations and projects. Also again a few from music festivals. The most important thing is to get involved in events that interest you and to show the people you meet their kindness and interest. Always make sure you listen to people and not just talk about yourself, your interest. Also important is to make sure of your physical aspect. Stay clean and dress nice. Do not be a downer. To not critique people and almost never contradict people. It's a bit hard to be honest, but not impossible. I had the same type of questions until recently. Then I went to a comedy club with a friend, had a couple of beers with some other people, and it was the best conversation. I think the key here is to get out and find some club type of activity. Sport club, drama club, music, whatever you enjoy, and you will make new friends. If you haven't so, it's better to do some activities without them. Otherwise you'll tend to stick together because it's comfortable. Honestly, I don't. It is my girlfriend who meets all the new people. She has this outgoing personality that makes people want to be her friend, or try and talk her up or go on a date with her. Most of my friends I have made past my 20th have been people she has introduced to me. My best friend is about the only one that I currently have that is from before then. I approach random people a lot and make meaningful connections. By approach I mean talk to while in line for something, or start a conversation with the people sitting near me at a bar restaurant. By meaningful connection I mean I'll learn something from them or at least gain a person to say hi to when I see them around town. Now that I've moved to a much bigger city, this doesn't happen as often but I still try to make the connection. I would say the downfall to this is that these connections aren't meaningful lasting connections. Volunteer. Get involved in civic and social organizations. Join a kickball league or softball team. Go to church and join the choir. All these things require some amount of commitment and investment. They don't always lead to friends right away, but they show people you have interests and values that might align with their own. In the meantime, you might actually discover that whether you make friends or not, these things make you happier and more fulfilled. Shameless self-copy-pasta. As this question comes up at least once a week. Find a hobby. In my experience, the easiest way to meet new people as an adult is through a shared interest. It's so much easier to talk to a stranger when the conversation is about something other than the typical meet and greet. Obviously some hobbies are more social than others. You aren't going to meet many people collecting stamps. Here are some of my suggestions. Rock climbing. Don't be intimidated. Most cities have an indoor gym which will have routes for all skill levels. Additionally, the climbing community is very friendly and welcoming of new people. Don't be surprised if people just start talking to you and offering you tips. Board games. Check Facebook for board games nights in your area. Oftentimes they meet at coffee shops or game stores. Much like climbing, they are usually very welcoming of new people. Score some bonus points if you have some of your own games to bring. Bike riding, MTB or road. It doesn't matter, whatever piques your interest. Most cities have cycling and MTB clubs that have scheduled rides and social events. They will likely have rides for all skill levels, so don't worry about having to keep up with the serious people. Super easy way to meet new people and stay in shape. Food drink events. If you're a foodie, check out what's going on at your local restaurants and breweries. From tastings to brewery tours, there's a lot of different options. Local gamer groups. Are you a nerd at heart? It's one thing to meet someone in a game and wish you could just have a beer and chat with them. Now you can. Check Facebook for gamer groups in your area. You can play some Overwatch or PUBG and then go laugh about it over some drinks later on. Disc golf. There are courses all over the place and it's pretty cheap, depending on how much weed you smoke. Disc golfers are generally very friendly and happy to let you join in on their game, even if they don't know you. Go to things like meetup.com to try and meet new people. Trust me, it's not easy and it requires a lot of effort to achieve this. Highly recommend dancing, any kind, but contra dancing is probably the easiest to get into because they tell you the steps before every dance. Have met romantic interests, plenty of platonic friends, and gained a really fun way to spend my weekends. Honestly, effort. You had it easy as a child. School you were forced to go to. Classes you were forced to interact with. You didn't do anything actively. Friendships just happened. You noticed someone who also liked something you did and you said, hey, I like X too, and bam. Best friends for 20 years. Now, you work in a place with limited non-professional interactions. You can't be close friends with any random coworker due to either some form of favoritism, potential accusations of discrimination, HR abuse or outright crapping where you are eating. If things start to naturally progress further, you have to create time now. You have to go places where you not only will meet people, but you'll meet people you actually want to meet. You'll have no navigate their minefield of potential tics, issues, baggage, issues, wants, needs, desires, issues, as well as issues and also issues. As a kid in school, you were simple. Your friends were simple. Your friendships were simple. Now comes the hard part. Being a friend to someone complicated while being a complicated person. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.